Please go ahead, Mr. Rodney.
Thank you so much. And as the chair may know, a couple of sessions ago, I used the time that was remaining just to ask some questions, read them into the record, and they were indeed answered, and I appreciate the previous minister did that. So I'll just read them into the record now. What are the tangible examples of various ministries' commitment to and progress on the National Inquiry on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls? Question 2, how many more children have received services under Jordan's principle in 2016 than in the previous year, and what's the status of ensuring that children receive the same high quality of care on reserve as off reserve? What have been the impacts of the Daniels decision on your ministry's work last year, and what do you expect going forward? Last year, you speculated about putting money into First Nations for health, and as we discussed, hopefully wellness. That was from Hansard, by the way, page RS 279. Just wondering if that indeed did happen and what the results were. How many more Indigenous students are there in Alberta's post-secondary education system this year compared to last year? How many more faculty? And is Athabasca University adequately supported? Because, of course, many of our Indigenous students attend, both from Alberta and Canada. Key Strategy 1.5 included supporting the development of a consolidated Government of Alberta report on Indigenous statistics. And, of course, we're living in an age where we need to measure it in order to get support often, and that's difficult. But what's the progress on that, and what performance measures or indicators in the business plan or other ministries' business plans reflect information drawn from that statistical resource? And speaking of performance measures, the performance measurement framework, this is from Hansard RS 285, you mentioned that your department was working to improve that, but it doesn't appear that there's any new performance measures or indicators in your business plan for this year. So just wondering what happened to that new performance measurement framework. Will the public get to see that? Will you report publicly on progress and ability to hit performance measures? And what's the strategy to ensure that you do hit those performance measures? Because again, this is coming from a place of if we can measure it, if we can prove it, then we can not only put the money towards it, but the action to make things better with and for our Indigenous Albertans. Now, a couple questions on the legislation. Just wondering what happened to last year's Bill 22, for those who don't remember, an act to provide for the repatriation of Indigenous peoples' sacred ceremonial objects, and what department and community resources were spent on the bill that failed, and what policies and practices have been developed to address the problems or needs that Bill 22 was intended to address before it died on the order paper, and wondering who asked for the bill to not be debated. Next question's on the Aboriginal Consultation Levy Act. Wondering what the status for replacement of that is. There's so much more. I care so much. I wish we had more time.
Thank you very much.